Hej, siemanko, ludzie z tej strony, witam was serdecznie w kolejnym odcinku z gameplayami oraz trailerami i zaczynamy tym razem od Humanity Official Gameplay Overview 25 minut. Zobaczymy, czy będziemy skipować, czy też nie, czy całe 25 minut poświęcimy na to, co tutaj przedstawiają, więc zaczynajmy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Hey everybody, Mark McDonald here, executive producer at Enhance.
And I'm CJ, User Experience Director at Enhance.
And we are here to talk humanity, our deep dive.
Deep
Say it, CJ.
Deep dive.
Dive video. So hopefully you've heard of our game by now, but if you haven't, it is an action puzzle game. We announced a few years ago with a very mysterious trailer, but more recently we're coming clean with exactly what you're going to be doing in the game, and this video is part of that. Part of what we're really excited to be able to talk about now is that the game not only coming out May 16th, but also a day one PS Plus second tier and up title. So depending on what territory you live in, those has different names, but we're very excited about that, especially as we'll get into with
O kurde,
the user
rozpierucha.
stages and the stage creator. But before we do that, let's set the
Damn.
table here, CJ. So what is humanity?
Well, it's an action puzzle game, but let me ask you this. Have you ever wanted to wake up as a dog?
I can't say that I have. Deep dive video or not, I gotta be honest. No, but I would. It just sounds like a fascinating premise for a video game.
Indeed, it is. And that is the conceit here with humanity. You wake up one morning and you find that you're a dog.
We have a job to do.
Indeed, you do. A disembodied voice tells you that it's your job to lead the people to the light, this sort of brainless, ever forward marching horde of humans. You must save them.
So you do that. You're in the game. You're in the levels here as our little iridescent Shiba Inu, and the people can, on their own, they will walk forward. They can push blocks. They can swim. They can climb walls. But yeah, like you mentioned, they're pretty much little brainless drones, and that has to do with some of the storyline. That there's 90 levels.
That's right, 90 levels.
There is a nice light little narrative that hopefully incentivizes you to keep going through it, but yeah, most of the game is focused on these action puzzle stages, and you are in there controlling the people via these commands that you're dropping. So these turn commands are pretty self-explanatory, but you also give them different jump commands. You have long jumps, you have high jumps. You can have the people float, which changes their attributes. They can survive longer falls, and also fans blow them higher up into the air. Later on, you equip them with weapons. Again, things are going on in the story that kind of lead you there. And yeah, things like that. So the game is constantly adding new mechanics, new elements, trying to keep it fresh as you go along, and then mixing them back with the elements that you've had up until then. So we'll go into some examples of that with some specific stages. Yeah, let's begin here with Loop the Loop, which was in our demo, our limited time demo, but is one of our favorite stages. So we like to use it to illustrate how things work in the game. You see us here guiding the people. Normally this would be a lot of trial and error, but really the only place that you can have them jump to is this area. And after you do that, you guide them onto this that men's room sign is a switch. Well, what is it going to activate? You don't have to do this, but optionally here, you can engage the free look camera and see here, oh, okay, that switch, those lines are showing something that it's going to do. So once you come back out of the free look camera, so it's just like a little hint, little optional hint. If you want to stop things and chill for a sec and figure things out at any time, you can do that. And here now, it has added to the path towards the goal. And so the conceit
Whoa, what
of
did
this...
the dog just do right there?
Oh my God, CJ, that's soul surfing, I think we call it. I think it's called diving in the actual game, but we'll get more into that in another level. Yeah, the dog can go places where the people can't, and vice versa. But the conceit of this stage, spoiler warning, the loop idea is that you're going to create that loop of the people so they're constantly activating those two switches, which you need to create the road towards the goal here, CJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump these people over this pit here and grab this Goldie.
You got
What
it
do you
all
think?
figured out. You got
I
it
do.
all figured out. What could possibly go wrong? Oh,
Oh.
CJ.
They jumped over. Let me adjust here. Nope. Oh, still going
raw.
over.
Ah, that's why the hashes on that the block is a climbable wall. That's why that was there. The mystery is solved. So yeah, and Goldie there being that kind of Oscar-looking gold giant person, those are generally optional, but sometimes not. Sometimes required to finish a stage. What are we seeing here, CJ?
We're seeing Goldie rewards. So as you collect Goldie, you can unlock special rewards in the game, and sometimes that's skins for the humans, and other times that's game features like a fast forward or.
Czyli zdobywamy muzykę, modele, jakieś skiny, głowy wielkie.
Music for the stage. So some of them are. Most of them are cosmetic, but there's a few there that are like, nice little additions to the game mechanic, kind of quality of life features.
Yeah, and you can play around with the skins. Some of these later ones are pretty awesome.
There's some wild ones. Yeah. So let's get into a more pure puzzle stage. So a lot of the stages in Humanity, most of them have this mix of action puzzle, but there are some stages that run more to one side than the other, and this is an example of a style of stage that is more in the pure puzzle camp. So these stages, time is stopped when the stage begins by default, so you have to go through and place all your commands first, then you start time, and you are powerless. You can't change your commands anymore in real time, so you have to think ahead and plan everything kind of through. And here is an example of one such stage, mental block, which was in the demo. Again, trying to stick to demo stages so we don't spoil too much. This block, if you activate time, you see what happens here. Okay, the people come through, they push this big black pushable block down a bit, then they fall under it. Okay, so how can I redirect them now to push that block down and try to get it on that switch, which has that little, looks like a fragile logo, little box logo, means that is a switch activated by pushing a pushable block on it. So here we go. What if we try this? We have the people start to walk across that block, and then they'll fall off. So here we go again. They start to fall down. Now we can fast forward via the little optional mechanic that we unlocked early on with our goldies in the Goldie rewards that we talked about before. There we go. So now they push the block. Now they're pushing it back. Oh, wait. Okay, that activated the bridge. We're good to get to the end, but oh, shoot, we forgot one link up turn command. So are we screwed? Do we have to start all over? Well, not really, because we have this idea of retry keep commands where we can reset the level, but keep everything we've done so far. So you can make tweaks, make adjustments to what you had without losing everything. If you want to, you can do that. You can wipe the slate totally clean, but we don't need to. We just need to add in that one arrow. And if we do so now, this time, we're going to link up, we're going to get our Goldie, and we are good to go to the end.
Yeah, I actually use retry keep commands quite a bit to experiment with different solutions and possibilities in a stage. Instead of mapping the whole thing out, I'll map out maybe the first third and test to see if that worked, and then use retry keep commands to adjust anything that I need to. But let's say a stage is too difficult for me, and I just need a hint, just a little hint. What do I do, Mark? What do I do?
You're weak, CJ. You're weak. No, you check this out, which is our little solution video. So every stage, we didn't want people to get stuck and give up. So every stage has built in a solution video.
Czyli mają jakieś takie wewnętrzne tutoriale, żeby pomóc.
Plus subscribers can do that via game help, but in all versions of the game, here in the pause menu, every single level has a solution video that you can start watching. You can stop as soon as you want, like kind of get a hint or a flavor of what the first move is, and we show how to finish the stage, the bare requirements for finishing the stage. So we do not show clearing all goldies or any goldies at all, in fact, unless they are totally necessary to finish the stage.
So next up, let's talk a little bit about the others, which are a rival group you'll meet in the story mode. And they're similar to your humans, but they're different. The two groups differ in culture and language and have never spoken, but they do have one thing in common. They both desire Goldie.
I love that goldie.
A friendly rivalry
Both love that goldie.
with the others.
Yes.
And as you can see here, if they happen to grab Goldie, he turns silver and starts walking with them instead. So you got to stop that, right?
No, can't have that.
Yeah. So this stage, winner takes all, is actually one of my favorites in the game, and it's set up as an escalation of this rivalry with the others, and it's a race against them in this sort of huge, expansive level. And one of the more advanced strategies that you learn here is that making the people jump is faster than having them just walk there and climb up that wall. So spoilers a little bit, and I used the soul surf move too to scale that wall really quick as well.
We're not going to show solving this stage properly, right? We're going to just...
No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't
Never.
do that. This is one of those levels you said earlier that you might have to collect a Goldie to complete. This is one of those, but I'm not going to do that at all. Instead, I'm going to show you the ending of this level here, where you're racing against the others. And one of the cool little tricks here is that if you happen to path your humans to the end and they hit the button before the others get to their button, they make the path for the others disappear. So they're royally screwed over.
And here's an example of a stage where it has now boiled over. So this is going to get into our kind of battle mechanics such as they are. So now we have this shoot command, which when people walk over it, gives them a ranged weapon, kind of looks like a laser pistol. And this is one of those time stop puzzle stages. So you are placing all your commands first before the people are moving, and then you hit the power button and activate it. So here, this is just to show off the strengths and weaknesses of the two different types of weapons that we have. We have these melee weapons. So yeah, at range, you want to stay far away and be shooting people. And when you get in close, is hopefully is intuitive with the melee weapon, you're going to be it's a much more powerful hit. And so here, our strategy didn't quite work out, going straight at them, because they others there equipped with batons are going to overpower the formation that we had with our ranged weapons. However, that's a nice example of where we want to use that retry, keep commands, and play with different configurations. We're not going to spoil how you do it in this stage, but yeah, there's a lot of different ways to finish this stage.
Let's talk a little bit more about the action side of the action puzzle game that is Humanity. So we have these stages where
Bossy są, dobra? Przewijmy.
Bosses in Humanity, just like any video game, but since it's a puzzle game, they are a little bit different. The first couple are these sorts of tests of your knowledge, and they lean hard into the puzzle aspects of it. Did you learn the mechanics, and can you apply them in this sort of larger test? And then later on, we have this sort of more action-y bullet hell style boss, like right here, where you are having the people follow you and you have to dodge lasers and boss movements more actively. So you have to figure out the pattern without losing all of your people.
Damn.
If you get down to 0 people following you, you have to retry the stage.
So enough about story mode. Let's talk user stages. So this is our browser
Killer
for
stages,
all the
stages
user-generated
creator.
content, all the stages made
okay.
with our
Dobra,
stage
sądzę, że
creator.
już
So when you first
dostatecznie dużo zobaczyliśmy. Ash of the Gods, the way.
The war is coming, Finn.
Jeden jest spoko, Humanity. Te osób, które właśnie lubią jakieś takie łamigłówki.
Only ones who can stop them. This is the way the game our enemies use to train their commanders, but they play with real people. Every year, the Frisians organize tournaments to find the worthiest challengers. They get the chance to fight the commanders of the Frisian army. We have to eliminate them.
Kill the war.
From now on, you are Count Rene Kallio, a Frisian nobleman, and you have to master that game. Here, every fight is unique, even though it can be unfair at times. A true commander must learn to overcome every difficulty. So play wisely, think, experiment, and be prepared.
And be prepared.
As anything can happen. Everything is in your hands, my boy.
The way. Pięknie. The way, ludziska. The way.
Product's
God.
not yet rated.
My king. Our steward rules a populace who call themselves the Tribe of the Dawn. They are primitive people. They gather wood and reeds to build their structures, and use clay and bog iron to improve them. Like all simple folk, they're compelled by survival to leave the comfort of the village. Many dream of adventure, but the surrounding woods are uninviting.
Cześć, Magum.
Death and pain await in the wild. Evil creeps and crawls through the dark recesses of their minds. Your subjects are only human, and as such, their minds and bodies can be broken.
Co tak wcześnie? Bo wczoraj trailerków nie obejrzeliśmy, bo było właśnie gorąco.
The people pray for aid. They have a witch who whispers powerful spells, blessing the tribespeople.
Więc oglądamy trailerki. Ostatnio chyba podobnie zrobiliśmy.
But even divine
Też było jakoś
assistance may not
giga gorąco w
be
sobotę.
enough. They can only watch as their wooden settlement crumbles to dust, one after another.
Pogrywasz sobie teraz od kilku dni w Tatynkosta? Nice. O, ja muszę nadrobić ostatni delcek.
You speak of. What
To
do
Titan
they
Questa.
call it?
Gord. Nie. Ale to jeszcze trochę, bo mamy tutaj sporo innych tytułów do posiekania. Evil Wizards.
Stupid heroes.
Magika 3? Też nie, no ja też nie mam jeszcze tego ostatniego dodatku do Titan Questa. Gierka trochę przypomina właśnie ten Magikę, kurde, nie? Tylko inny style jest kombatu. Occupy Mars, the game. Jakieś tworzenie wioski na Marsie? Tak. Occupy. Ten ostatni DLC chyba się nazywa Eternal Embers? Chyba tak, nie? No, mogli powodować jeszcze jakieś patche, nie? Że mogło się pozmieniać, nie? Pytanie, kiedy ostatni raz patcha wdali, nie? Tutaj ten questa Redfall Official Launch Trailer. Kurde, mamy tyle zaległości w tych trailerach, teraz jeszcze kupa innych trailerów i jeszcze powychodziła. Ajajajajaj, trzeba nadrobić to. A jeszcze we wtorek i w środę są eventy z nowymi gierkami, więc też trailery będą. Uff. Ach, ten Gamescom. Zobaczymy. Ostatni wpis na Steamie z października. O, to w sumie pozmieniali, no. Czyli coś tam wychodziło. Kiedy ja pykałem w Titan Questa? Trzy lata temu pykałem i wtedy ogrywałem Atlantis. No to poprawiali jeszcze sporo. A kiedy masz remontować dzięki? O kurde. Czyli co, na ogródek będziesz musiał chodzić? Yes. A, już masz założone, okej. O. Dobrze. Przynajmniej jakiś plus z tego. No mi jak na razie powoli pęka ta klapa, więc jeszcze się nie przejmuję tym. No mówię, dopiero jak mi pęknie całkowicie, no to wtedy będę myślał co i jak. Ale na pewno wezmę jakiegoś instalatora od tego, nie? Przy okazji może ten zrobi mi rury pod zlewem w kuchni poprawnie. Bo ja robiłem samemu, taka prowizorka domowa. A i tak od czasu do czasu mi przecieka. Bite back, Redfall. Kurde, klucza nawet nie dali mi świnie, nie? Zrequestowałem, nawet nie uczcili chyba, nie? Muszę zobaczyć. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. O, nie odrzucili nawet.
We're close to Rubicon. Wake the dog up.
Handler Walter verified. Activating cerebral coral control device.
No a tak jeszcze co do Titan Questa Eternal Embers, to na Kinguinie jest za 32 zł. Jest na promce jakieś minus 66%, więc... Wiesz, jak zajmują starą kabinę od prysznicu, to taki silikon... To tak silikonoży, że płytki... Podają to, że odpadły. Czyli mocny silikon. A nie, mocny silikon? To w sumie dobrze nawet, że dobry ten mocny silikon. Wiesz, ta kabina też musi się jakoś trzymać, nie? Tak, albo będzie w niej położone kafelki. To też tak może być, nie? Kiepskiej jakości towar użyty i... Albo za mało, albo kiepskiej jakości, nie? I tak to właśnie jest. Kurde, jak jest tak gorąco, to praktycznie się nic nie chce robić w tej chacie, nie? Chciałem posprzątać w ten weekend, ale nie udało mi się. Więc czekam, aż się trochę ochłodzi znowu. A ma się ochłodzić, więc... Ale to dopiero we wrześniu, na początku. Czy końcówka sierpnia, początek września. Ale nie powiem, mam dosyć już tych upałów, nie? Ile można? Niespodziankę mówiłeś pod brodzikiem? Co? Dużo jakiegoś syfu, tak? Czy coś skaszenione było? Spoko, kurde, z tymi mechami jest. Armored Core 6. No, akcje TP, mechowy, strzelanki TPS. Może. Age of Wonders 4.
What makes a true wizard king?
Dokładnie wszystko było robione na słowo honoru. Goddammit. No, ciężko jest teraz o dobrych fachowców, nie? Którzy nie spierdzielą, nie? Ja coś na ten temat wiem, jak rodzice robili u siebie kibel, to starszy wziął takiego ziomeczka, niby po znajomości, nie? Ale od 7 bolesi, także ja pierdzielę, nie? Znaczy on był instalatorem od tych wszystkich sanitariów niby i tak dalej, nie? Ale to... Boże się Boże. A dwa... to miało być zrobione tylko tak, że... Bo w kiblu u rodziców było tak, że połowa była w kafelkach, druga połowa była w tynku, nie? No i miało w sumie tylko odświeżyć ojciec tylko tą górną połowę, nie? No, a ojciec skuł wszystko do gołej cegły. No, jakąś gównianą pleksę, nie? Dygnął, nie? I no to płytki, nie? Więc takie. No. A instalator to swoją drogą, nie? Miał fajny Junker skupić, kupił badziewie na baterię. Więc no. Age of Wonders, Dragon Down. Kurde, jest dużo tych gierek, że szkoda gadać. O, Layers of Fear, nice. Ale kurde, tego czasu brakuje cały czas.
In this video, we will explore the Layers of Fear series' crowning work. The definitive way.
O kurde, musiałeś wyjść, goddammit. Muszę się powtórzyć. Mówiłem, że rodzice robili kibel. To też tak średnio wyszło. To tak w wielkim skrócie. Na odpierdzie wszystko było robione. Generalnie. Zwłaszcza jeśli chodzi o instalatora tam tych sanitariów i tak dalej, nie? Zlewy, nie zlewy, rury i Junkers, nie?
Hardware ray tracing allows us to achieve new levels of realism, crucial for building a terrifying atmosphere with lifelike shadows and reflections.
Mówisz, że dobierają się tobie do nogi, tak?
We use the Niagara system to create even better particle effects that enhance the...
Ale tak, to muszę przyznać, że w Layers of Fear ładnie wszystko porobili. Chodzi mi na maksymalnych detalach i tylko momentami są lekkie gdzieś tam spadki tych FPS-ów, a tak to picobello chodzi, także to jest jeden z niewielu przykładów gierek zrobionych na Unreal Engine 5, które wyglądają i śmigają wyśmienicie. Więc to trzeba przyznać, nie?
Whether you're playing on console or PC, you can expect a smooth 4K HDR experience.
Do drugiego psa do Rexa, o kurde. Aj.
We invite you to enter the twisted world of Layers of Fear.
No, my Layers of Fear jeszcze będziemy cisnąć. Udało mi jest takie combo, że szkoda gadać, nie? Przy tym remasterze. Nie, remake'u. Przepraszam, to jest remake. Remaged. Yeah. Pięknie, pięknie. Next! The last case of Benedict Fox.
What happened?
I know not what lies beyond that portal, but I am willing to risk everything to find out.
No, ja też ostatnio zgłosiłem się do supportu Elgato, czyli od firmy, od której mam kartę do przechwytywania na drugim PC-cie, nie? I jakieś takie dziwne rzeczy się zaczęły dziać też z ten i chcę wydedukować, czy to karta mi pada już? Czy przy nowym kompie będę musiał zainwestować, czy coś innego to jest? Wszystko na razie im podesłałem, czekam na informację od drugiej linii wsparcia, bo pierwsza tylko logi i informacje zebrała. No i zobaczymy, jaka końcowa dedukcja będzie. No i jeszcze czekam na kontakt od innego supportu odnośnie headbanda do tych słuchawek, które mam, bo znowu mi się popsuły. Bramble, the Mountain King. Także przy tym modelu akurat ten headband jest badziewny, nie? Same słuchawki są naprawdę spoko, ale no niestety konstrukcja jest do bani, nie? To słuchawki, kurde, nie są tanie. Więc niestety ich polecić nie mogę. Kupiłem lipę? No, ale ja nie wiedziałem, że to będzie, że się okaże lipa, nie? Znaczy, fajnie jest spoko, bo ten headband jest zdejmowany, nie? Natomiast konstrukcja jest na tyle skaszeniona, że ta ekoskóra, ona jest przyklejona na klej tam do tego plastiku, który to jest, nie? Niestety ten plastik, ten klej, on się gotuje pod wpływem ciepła od głowy, nie? I się lasuje, a co za tym idzie, ta ekoskóra się odkleja od tego kleju, nie? Ale troll. Także już jeden headband dałem na gwarę, ale czekałem 2 miesiące, aż mi to zrobią. Jeszcze kurde dostałem jakieś takie dziwne teksty typu proszę bardziej dbać o słuchawki, nie? Nani? Także no. Także to nie jest kwestia dbania o słuchawek, to jest po prostu wada fabryczna, nie? Star Wars Jedi Survivor! Jest focus. Kal, focus. Use your force.
Not playing baseball. Right. You will take me to the senator now. You'll take me to the senator now. No less risk.
Mark, you know I don't actually have the force, right?
BD1 says no excuses. Hold it. You get 2 lightsabers?
Well, technically 1, but I can split them.
You never gave me 2 lightsabers.
Mark? Duck. Okay, now use your force powers to pull that sphere.
I really don't need you to explain the force to me.
Wymienić sobie? No, muszę pomyśleć, nie? No wiesz, na razie się przemęczę, no. Raven's Watch. Może za jakiś czas. Takie naprawdę porządne kupię. Gdzie headband nie będzie badziewny, nic nie stylu, nie? Ale no mówię, to też trzeba kasy mieć, nie? Na takie naprawdę prawdziwe, plus jeszcze... Musiałbym mieć inny mikser, ale to też gdzieś tam w planie, ale to mówię, to kupa hajsów, nie? No i wtedy takie słuchawki naprawdę na lata będą starczyć, nie? Tym bardziej, że ja naprawdę dbam o ten sprzęt. Czekaj, kurde, aż więcej dadzą w tym Eerie Accessie tego Raven's Watcha, bo wyjdzie już finalnie. Bo zapatrzyłem się, ale to tylko jakiś jeden chapter, czy coś w tym stylu i to w sumie tyle było. Ach. Live Alive, official, PS4, PS5 and 4. Znaczy, no te są porządne, nie? To są od Bayer Dynamicsów, nie? One kosztowały ponad kafla? No, także jak na ponad kafla, no to słabo z tą konstrukcją tego headbanda, nie? Saints Row! O, to jeszcze coś tu podwydywali do Saints Row? O, ciekawe. Także wiesz, to nie jest jakiś bubel za, nie wiem, 200 czy 300 zł, nie? Żeby nie było, nie? No. Ale mówię, ale mam na oku najlepszy model od Bayer Dynamicsów, ale mówię, no to kurde, jest kupa hajsu, nie? No plus mówię, potrzebowałbym mocniejszy mikser, nie? Do tego, nie? Do całego mojego tego setupa, nie? Wulong Fallen Dynasty. Zobaczmy. Żadne chyba tego z nazwy. Ja nie, akurat to jest ten model, nie? Bo poprzedni model, który miałem, to były Bayer Dynamicsy DT990 Pro. To mega spokojnie. Tylko tam musiałbym wymienić sobie earpady na nowe. Bo te, które kupiłem, pasują, ale zupełnie inny dźwięk dają, więc no. Plus one tam są mocniejsze, 250 ohmów. Czyli większy zakres takiego zakresu dźwiękowego. High on Life, okej. No i mój amplitury chyba jakoś taki słaby jest, nie? Generalnie. Generalnie mikser też jest słaby, żeby to jakoś w miarę obsłużyć, no. Więc... No mówię, w razie czego mam inne słuchawki jeszcze, ale to na spokojnie. Póki co mam te jeszcze, czekam na ofertę na tego headbanda. Chyba 8 dych ma kosztować. Więc nie będzie tak tragicznie. Zobaczymy, jak długo wytrzyma trzeci. Tower of Fantasy.
We often regret the decisions we have made when there could have been changes.
Tower of Fantasy.
I hope everyone could walk out of the dark shadow of gray space entities. And all tragedies would end here. Even if the hope is slim, this I must do.
Ajaja.
My attitude, my pursuit, and the answer I'm dying to verify. None of these have changed. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Steady? Go. Buba. W Tower of Fantasy też byśmy chcieli sobie pograć. Kwark? Co to jest? Holy shit. Wydaje mi się, że to widziałem. Może u Lirka widziałem. Albert Einstein. Play Quark. Wishlist now on Steam. Nightmare Reapers. Co to kurde? Wolfenstein? Albo Doom? Niezła pikseloza. Nie wiem, czy byłbym w stanie w to grać już. Takie naprawdę pikselki, nie? Nie wiem, czy by mnie nie wywracało. O. To jeszcze jak jest takie szybkie, to już w ogóle, nie? By mój organizm nie zdzierżył. The Outlast Trials, tak jest, w końcu dojechaliśmy do Outlast Trialsów. Outlast Trials te są zakolejkowane.
My name is Stefan Petrina, and at Red Barrels I'm sort of the principal animator, the animation director. I'm the
Ale na razie to jest w Early Accessie jeszcze, więc czekamy aż będzie full release.
Generally speaking, I'm here to kind of ensure the animation quality of the game. The designers have a game in mind with characters and rules, and I'm there to kind of help communicate those through character animation. I didn't get trained in how to become a director in motion capture. It was really, when we decided we wanted to go forward with it, we had the option to, maybe do we want to hire an outside director? No, we can do it ourselves. That's kind of what we do here at Red Barrels. We can do it ourselves. We were 10 guys in one room building Outlast 1. How much more difficult could it be to go to a mocap stage and figure it out how to do it and do it right?
Shot 6, take 1. Rolling.
I'm back, what's the word?
I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you, but you're not listening. This is your last chance.
This setup is for our character, Mr. Noakes, who's a lobby denizen. He's a character that you go and buy upgrades from. And he has a story to tell along the way. So today what we're going to be doing is capturing Tyrone, our actor, playing Noakes in Noakes' environment. For a shot like today, it's about a lot of body motion, a lot of attitude, a lot of micro movement that we're not always aware of when we're talking to people in conversation, but a lot of stuff that just gets captured automatically with motion capture, so that when we feed that into our character in game, it has much more of an organic appearance because it's moving with all the little nuances that people move with. And then we have a lot of the big sort of identifiable actions, the gestures that go along with conversation. Well, maybe your dog wants to play fetch. Yeah.
Fetch, go get it.
We don't have anything like we've done in the past because now we're a new type of game with a whole new bunch of variables. We're exploring new tricks. Can we do the types of scares that we've done in the past, but find a new way to express them in our new game? What would I say to fans waiting for the next game? Be ready and be afraid.
Nie możemy się doczekać. Ale niech wydadzą fulla. Lecimy dalej. Tak jest. Teraz będziemy mieli dużo trailerków z Outlasta.
has this history of creating those very iconic enemies, and I feel like fans are expecting us to deliver those iconic enemies again in a different level. We tried to kind of figure out how the infection is gonna work in the characters with all the new mechanics and with all the new abilities that we have, but we don't want to make it like too high in terms of technology, because in the 50s everything was a little bit more limited. My job is basically kind of trying to do a lot of the research of how make something that looks high tech look like low tech and give this 50s twist to it. And it's pretty fun because at the end of the day, I have a lot of possibilities of creating those characters and trying to portray a little bit of their daily basis. My favorite character, it's Gooseberry.
Ooh.
I was completely intrigued by her story because she is this TV show host for kids. But like off camera, she has this whole like dark side, and she's supposed to look like motherly looking. She's supposed to have this like motherly feel for kids, but in reality, when you look at it, it's a completely different story. Because it's an Outlast game, it needs to feel off in a way. Like he had this super jolly face, that she's pretty, she is perky, but her face needed to be removed. And we had all these like references of prostheses of people that go to war and they lose their face, they have their face burned. And the couple of first sketches, it was already way too off, and this is something that we wanted to avoid. You know, we had something, but it was not there. So the moment I did the third interaction with her was the moment that they were like, all right, we have something there. Gooseberry is a double character. She has major daddy issues, and the puppet is the
Nie da się wytrzymać, a masz pokój od północy, no masakra jest.
which was a
Mam
horrible.
podobnie.
And from there, we pass it over to
Nie, no za duża temperatura powietrza jest, nie? Dlatego.
in her most beautiful way.
A tutaj taki futurystyczny wentylator. Ale to taka prowizorka, nie?
With a very distorted notion of law. Whatever you think it's right,
Jakaś klima faktycznie by się przydała. A to też trzeba pomyśleć nad tym, nie? Bo te lata coraz gorsze są.
He has this sort of fetish of sexual assaulting people with his baton. Koyo is not only about the mechanic of playing, but also the background and his twisted ways of showing love.
Thank you for volunteering for the therapy.
There's a lot of anxiety on my part because creating a game takes a lot of time, and creating those characters, making them come through and like, you know, shine, it takes a long time because it's a collective effort. Animation, effects, programming, you know, until we actually see the full thing, it might take like 3-4 years, if not more. Because these are very important characters at the end of the day. And
No ma się trochę uchodzić, nie? Tak jak mówiłem wcześniej, nie? Więc powinno być gites.
My name is JT Petty. I'm the writer of the Outlast video games. Outlast Trials is about you basically you're somebody who gets picked up off of the street. You're somebody who can be vanished because you're judged as being worthless by society. You know, if you're a drug addict or a mental patient or anybody that the government wouldn't mind vanishing in 1960, you wake up in a facility where you're basically being forced to take part in experiments. A lot of the mystery of the story is about trying to figure out what this experiment is supposed to do to you.
Hello.
I mean, so we wanted to set this one back in 1959 because I think the mystery of the origins of Murkoff have always been something that's just been a really interesting thing to want to explore. I also feel like 1960 is such a prime time politically in terms of secret decisions that really shaped the way the next Century is going to go.
The Outlast Trials takes place before any of the other Outlast games, and so we'll be able to explore things that happened before Outlast 1 that maybe you are
O, to jest ciekawe.
or seeing some characters maybe.
Czyli to są wydarzenia sprzed dwóch pierwszych poprzednich części. Nice.
And it draws a lot of inspiration to experiments that were actually done in Montreal
Prequel.
on people, on their brains, on their behaviors. It's lore to us, but it's real history to real people. It's been a huge inspiration, and it's a story that hasn't ever really been told in video games, to my knowledge, so we're really excited about it.
Hi, my name is Carl Chignara. I'm a psychiatrist. This is the Allen Memorial Institute. It's a great training center, but it's also where Dr. Cameron's experiments occurred, linked with MKUltra. MKUltra was a large secret operation by the CIA that ran from 1953 to 1973. That was in the early days of the CIA. Their basic aim was to find ways to modify behaviors. The director of the hospital, this famous psychiatrist, Dr. Donald Ewan Cameron, was experimenting on patients. He claimed he could remove certain unhealthy patterns in the mind of patients and replace it with healthier patterns. So that intrigued the CIA. They first funded all kind of research that was going on. So things like mind-altering drugs, things like how to implant a device in the brain and remotely control somebody. So there was research going on, but they only went so far. What they did that was much more unethical, they became rather obsessed with LSD, and they did all kinds of weird experiments with it. They hired prostitutes to slip LSD to clients unknowingly, and then they would observe whatever occurred. They even would give LSD to CIA employees without their knowledge, just to observe what it does. So that's really dangerous. I mean, today it absolutely sounds like it's a conspiracy theory, but it actually happened. You can imagine that having things like sleeper agents, controlled assassins, would be kind of the perfect spies. A sleeper agent, in theory, is an agent, spy that doesn't know that he's a spy, that he can be activated from a distance. So in my opinion, if the CIA, or if anybody really could crack mind control, they would have the most devastating weapon in human history, more than nuclear weapons.
Get back!
No, zdecydowanie, żeby nie było, nie?
Fans can expect from Trials is more suffering, I guess.
Okej. Lecimy dalej. Outlastik. Sorry, że te triale nie są po kolei, ale tak się poukładało.
My name is Francis Bruss. I'm the audio director here at Red Barrels. So my day-to-day job is to figure out special ways to creep people out and to make audio a integral part of the Outlast brand. From the VO recordings, from music, from sound effects, from integration, pretty much all the facets of audio is what I do. Having a new composer for the game is a huge part of Outlast Trials. That's something that we're so excited about because the whole goal of having Tom as a composer is using his ability to tie everything together into one unit of a game. Tom has an amazing background in video games. I can't list half of the game that he's worked on. He gives master classes to other composers. So for him, he was just incredibly motivated to be part of Outlast Party.
Hi, I'm Tom Salta, and I'm the composer for the original score to Outlast Trials. You know, working with Red Barrels was really a fun and unique experience for me, and working with Francis was just incredible. What I really like about it's also challenging but fun at the same time, is that I came on a bit earlier than I normally do. On a lot of these kind of big AAA games, whether it was Battlegrounds or Ghost Recon, Halo stuff, I usually come on right at the end. Things happen fast. With Outlast Trials, it's different. It was earlier in the development stage, and it's giving me a chance to see it come to life and maybe contribute ideas that can affect the mechanism of the game itself, which is like, this is amazing, because it's like, you know, I'm like a kid in a candy store. So for the theme of Outlast Trials, we obviously wanted this to be really super special. And me personally, you know, given my love of this game and the music that I'm doing, I wanted it to check off a few things that I really didn't have much precedent for. I wanted something that was just purely scary to listen to. I wanted also something that had some melody to it, something that was memorable but also with a melody, and something that was simple enough that you could just play it on a piano. One of the first things that that came to mind, and I don't know where it came from, was that little phrase, that da ba da ba ba da ba. That was like, wow, okay, that feels right. Finding that simple idea that you immediately know it's Outlast Trials, and it immediately scares you. And then seeing that come to life when we developed the theme and then brought in the full orchestra, I mean, that was like, yes, it's alive.
It's alive.
50% of the experience is audio driven. It is the immersion factor that will pull the player in, that'll keep the player within the world. And
no i tak, to prawda, aż śmieciary teraz tu przeszły.
Or really releases down to zero. That, I think, the audio is the main factor in that, and that's how we keep the player stuck in the game, in the world with us. That's going to be the challenge, and I think we're up to it. We're up to it.
Another thing that is so much fun with creating the music for Outlast Trials is it just gives me the opportunity to get some props and try to come up with some textures and sounds that really are terrifying, but based on, you know, 50s technology or toys or things like that. I went on eBay and I found this thing. I mean, you know, an innocent plaything can be very terrifying. My kids get scared when I show this to them. I think they've seen too many horror movies, but, you know, what's scary about this? Woo, apparently a lot. Taking those things and using them to create scary sounds, textures, and music. I mean, come on. I'm getting paid for this?
Nieźle. Psychology. Okay.
I'm Bernard Perron. I'm a full professor of film and game studies at the University of Montreal. Horror as an emotion is very unpleasant. You know, that's just think about any terrorist attack. It's horrifying. You cannot do anything. You're stuck with that. You're frozen in place, and it's not a great emotion, and we don't want to leave that. I don't want to be horrified. I want to be scared.
Mam giga dużo książek.
Fear is like it's focused on the future. There's a danger. There's a threat on you. You know, there's something. You're afraid of something. You're afraid of doing something. Terror is about the underdeterminate, something that is suspected but you don't see. You know it's around and it's not there.
Fear is a very natural process that allows us to detect threats and hopefully properly react to threats. So we have a deep brain structure called the amygdala, which is located in the limbic system, which is sort of the emotional brain, sort of the more primitive part of our brain. And the amygdala constantly monitors input from our senses, from our thoughts, from our memories, and whenever it detects a threat, it fires up the brain and the body in what we call a fight or flight response, where basically you either fight the threat or run away. It talks to the control center of our brain called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus then sends a signal down the body to our adrenal glands, secretes adrenaline, epinephrine, and that will bring about a whole different changes in the body, things like increased heart rate, increased respiratory rate, sweating, you know, anything that would be of use if you were to fight a threat.
With video games, the simulation bring me to get in. It's a rush. There's something that, you know, that's very intense. And then since we're in the bounded experience of fear that we know that we are not in danger, I can live this negative emotion as a positive emotion. It's fun to be scared.
I think people love to play horror games because the fear is creating a really primitive emotion. I think people, whether it's horror games or horror movies, they like being scared because it makes them feel alive.
I think video games have the potential to be much scarier than movies and books. With immersion, you can trigger the fear response system. So if you trick your brain into believing that there's some sort of threat, you will have the physiological fear response while you play a video game. And this can be enhanced by you know, good storytelling, atmosphere, gameplay, interaction, sounds, music, graphics. You know, being afraid of things is one thing, but having pleasure from it is another thing. So if you have a sense of mastery or control over the fear, that can bring a sense of well-being, pleasure that could be quite fun.
Of society.
No, with Outlast, for me, I'm teaching that and I'm studying that. They can go as far as they want because I know this is, you know, they want us to be horrified, they want us to be scared, they want us to be terrified. And then you have all that in Outlast. You know, you're gonna have the horror of the torture, you're gonna have the fear of knowing that, you know, the patient's gonna get on you, and you get the terror of not knowing what's in front of you, what you're gonna get in front of you.
Nice. Nice. Ale ludziska, na ten odcineczek to tyle z mojej strony, także dziękować serdecznie za oglądanie i widzimy się już niedługo w kolejnym. Trzymajcie się.